Welcome to the session 5 of our module, that is reconnaissance or information gathering. Today in this session we are going to cover up about Wayback URLs, subdomain enumeration, tools for performing subdomain enumeration, subdomain takeover, and some other online tools via which you can perform subdomain enumerations. Some of these tools will be a command line interface online tools for which you need internet to run and browser to run, whereas other tools will be completely command line interface tool via which you can gather information just like the same online tools. So let's start with the Wayback Machines. What actually Wayback Machines are? The Wayback Machine is a digital archive of the World Wide Web founded by the Internet Archive. It is a non-profit based in San Francisco, California organization which was created in 1996 and launched to the public in 2001. It allows user to go back in time and see how website looked in the past. So it not actually let the user to time travel, but it will tell you how the website used to look like 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 12 years ago, or the day when the website actually started and launched, and the difference so far. So for that we need to use a website or web application named as archive.org. In archive.org you need to enter the domain name for which you are looking for. Let's try to go for oyorooms.com, and in the previous years it's gonna tell you how it actually look like. So it's just like a snapshot which we install or which we store for our system or even for virtual machine. For example, I have got VM Fusion over here. So I have got many operating systems over here for which I can have a snapshot. If you go to the snapshots, it's going to show you like I have got two snapshots. First was taken on 6 April 2001 and right now it's currently it's powered off. So it's just like a restoration point, but we cannot restore to this specific point. But you can visit how actually your web application might have looked like in the earlier stages. Like it started in 2014, that is oyorooms.com. If you will go to the year 2014, it will show you the smaller the circle, the lesser the snapshots are, the larger the circle, the number of snapshots will increase. So let's see in March or April 14, 2014 at 2:49 PM, how does or AM, how does my web application OYO rooms actually looked like? Same way, I can just open another snapshot that is from September 25, 2014 at 1:55 p.m. how my web application might have looked like. So it's sometimes it's gonna take a little amount of time for it to open those specific snapshots. For 25th December 2014, 10:43 a.m. how does my web application looks like? So yes, it's gonna take a little time for it to open the whole web application, that is the whole Wayback Machine. The more Wayback Machines we'll be having, the more information we can try to gather from all these Wayback Machine. So when we talk about 2015, there are certain specific time zones which can be used for performing the whole snapshot thing. So far from April 14, 2014 to January 18, 2022, there it has been saved 7467 times. Just imagine how many snapshots would have been stored on just internet for this specific web application. So let me change my net connection. I guess my internet is working a little slow. Yes. Let's refresh all of these and let's try to access the information from these stored ones. Let's wait for it to open. We really don't know how does in 2014 this Oyo rooms might have looked like. But yes, that was launched in 2014 and I will be able to grab all of the looks of the Oyo room since when does it started and so far. So I cannot go for 7467 captures in a whole day. So just trust me, it's a huge number over here. Sometimes we can grab the access of JavaScript files or certain scripting files. Check out standardized branded rooms starting at 999 with unlimited Wi-Fi, AC room with TV, hygienic washroom, spotless linen, and further more information. Let's check about in year 2015 how many snapshots we actually were having. Okay, the very first it looks something like this. So now for here I can just go for certain specific. Let's say there are four snapshots of 18th August 2015 and just check out the difference in their looking. How does it look from 2014 to 2015 and 2017 and till date, how much of the difference might have been there. So here are five snapshots. I told you the bigger the circle, the more number of snapshots you will be able to actually find over here. So in 2014 the very first snapshot, this thing in mid, it looks something like this. In the next year, that is in 2015, let's say 20th November at 21:48 p.m. or 9:48 p.m., it actually looked something like that. I can navigate to December from here and can tell you how does it actually looks like on the 24th November 2015. Same way, moving towards the next date, I can just go ahead and check out. Sometimes you can grab certain information or certain JavaScript files from all these snapshots from let's say December 25 2015 9:57 a.m. What does it looks like? Let's turn the year and let's go to 2019. Wow, it doesn't change much, but yes, there are big changes in year 2019. Let's see how does this Oyo room look actually like. So let the snapshots get loaded. And yes, let's find for the very biggest one. It says three snapshots are there. 51 snapshots are there for November 29 2019, and let's check out 11:36 a.m. So sure, it's gonna take its time for loading the whole web application. Usually it doesn't take that much amount of time for loading the snapshots, but uh, due to certain glitches it might take time, or due to certain internet activities it can take a little more time around it. Let's try to load another snapshot as well from the 19th December, not from the 12th. I am looking for the 19th December from where it has 51 snapshots from 8:17 a.m. in the morning. So yes, it's gonna take a little time as it's digging out the old files. The more older the files, sometimes it's gonna take more amount of time for digging into the files and bringing you the exact response which you are looking for. Let's reload those snapshots again, and let's load another snapshot from November 29. So that's how you can actually look around and tell what your web application might have looked like in the past. Now, the why we must be looking for such kind of information from the past, because sometimes we receive certain information from our past applications or the web applications, which can give us specific information about certain sensitive files. Could be any API key, could be scripting files. We just need to look into the files architecture so that we'll be able to grab the whole information out of it. That's why archive.org or the Wayback Machines are used for. Eventually it will prompt out some information, but it's gonna take a huge amount of time, as I said earlier and quoted earlier. So let's move into the next sort of information which we can actually go for, and the next sort of information is digging out the subdomains. So when we talk about the domains and subdomains, so subdomains are part of domain that comes before the main domain name and domain extension. They can help you recognize your website, or they can help you in organizing your website in a specific manner according to the services which are being given by a web application or a website. So let's say when we talk about Google, we already use Google, and Google has got its own subdomains. Subdomains as in, like, you can go if you want to use mailing services, so you will be going for mail.google.com. Again, if you want to use your hangout services, you will be using hangouts.google.com. Again, further, if you are using other services like images or photos, you can use photos.google.com. And if you want to use Google Drive, you can use drive.google.com. See, the only difference over here is in every of those subdomains, the only first part changed, whereas the main domain is same. Like for example, we have got docs dot the mail.com. Here the docs is considered as a subdomain, or the word docs is present over here to represent a subdomain over here. So that's how we can just check out or enumerate our subdomain services. So we only need to find out what other subdomains are present over there on the web. Now, why it is important to find all other subdomains? Because there is an attack which is named as subdomain takeover, where the attacker can host their own content on their specific domain of the web application of the specific target, and no one can stop him from hosting the services of their own on those subdomains. So it's something like that domain might belong to some other person, but for the time being, if I am able to perform any subdomain takeover, so it means I can just go out and host my own services, and I don't even need to pay for the services of my subdomain which I am taking. So first we need to find some tools, or we need to use certain tools which are used for subdomain enumeration. Now there are two categories. First is browser based tools, which means there are certain websites and web applications which help you in performing subdomain enumeration, and the second one is you could use offline tools, certain graphical command line interface tools via which you can perform subdomain enumeration and gather more information about every other subdomain present inside the network or present inside the whole of the web application. The only thing is there won't be any much difference in it. There will be just difference in the representation of the data for subdomains which you will be grabbing. So see, it's a subdomain, so there won't be any difference if you are using any online tool or any of those offline tool. So let's start first with the online tools or a browser based tool. So the very first thing is you can go for a web application named as crt.sh. On crt.sh you just need to give information over here. Information over here as in, let's say I want to search information or search all of those subdomains for a specific website named as oyorooms.com and click on search. Here this search.sh will give you whole of the information about Oyo Rooms subdomains. Can you see some common names are present here? campuscrew.oyorooms.com, campuscrew.oyorooms.com, bugbounty.oyorooms.com, nepal.oyorooms.com, nps.oyorooms.com, sco.oyorooms.com. Now let's say I am looking towards certain specific wildcard, so I will be using anything, let's say percentage oyorooms.com. So it will be searching for usage of oyorooms.com, or I can go for anything dot oyorooms.com. For that I will be using percentage, so it will be giving us some certain subdomains, or I can look into it. Let's say I want to go for campus crew oyorooms.com, and I want to find if there is any subdomain of this whole domain, so I can go for specifying this thing and hit enter. So it says invalid byte sequence, so I can directly go for campuscrew.com, and again I am able to find certain information about campuscrew.com. So here will be a huge list which will be looking like it's a huge list to process on, but we can go for certain other tools for grabbing all of those subdomains. The best tool you can go for is Netcraft Search Web by Domain. So this online tool will help you in checking out all other subdomains, though it's not a specific efficient tool which you can actually go for. So let's go for search DNS for the Netcraft, and I can just go ahead. Okay, it says my certain limit has been reached. So let's bypass this thing. Let's turn the Anonymous on, which is a browser based extension and can be used as a proxy service. And let's try to rerun this website in new private window where I can turn my Anonymous on again. Let's go for manage, and let's see in private mode, yes, allow it. Let's go for google.com, and let's go for Netcraft Search Web by Domain. Here it is, and let's try to access it. And let's grab the neck of it. So it's gonna take a really little long time for it to open. So it's, I guess, because due to the proxy. Yes, here it is. Here we are. So you just need to give it here oyorooms.com and search it. So it's gonna give you only one, two, three, four, five results over here. So not only we have got just five results, so there would be many more resources, there would be many more subdomains. There are not just the five of these domains, but what we can do is we could go and use another web application over here. So that web application name is VirusTotal. On VirusTotal, we can actually go ahead and search out for certain subdomains of a specific domain, and which can help us in enumerating further more information about those subdomains, such as when we talk about all certain kind of information over here. So we could actually go for searching over here, and let's go for oyorooms.com and hit enter. So it's gonna search each and everything about oyo rooms on the internet and will tell me. It's also gonna tell me whether the web application I am looking for is a malicious one or is it a genuine one. And it says it's a genuine one. I can go for relations, and on scrolling down you can easily see that there is a subdomain section over here. If you will scroll down, there are more of it, and you can just go ahead and check out. Furthermore, you can go ahead and check out, there you will find a lot of subdomains present over here with the name of oyorooms.com. A website can have, or a domain can have, tens and hundreds of subdomain depending upon their usage. Now not all of these subdomains will be active, so what we need to do is we need to find out what are those subdomains which are quite active at this specific time period. So why I means of quite active at this specific time period is not all of these subdomains would be alive or would be live. So I will be copying this thing and I will be going for another web application named as http status.io, and on that web application I will be importing or inputting all these web subdomains and click on check status. So it will be telling me what are those subdomains which are alive right now and which are routable or not. So let's wait here for a couple of seconds for it to display the information. And yes, we are able to see all those subdomains which are quite active and alive and which are routable and unroutable, and which can be used by us for purpose of other attack performing. So if you will scroll down, you will see certain status codes. So here are those, these are those status codes which are going to tell you whether this domain or web application hosted on this domain is routable or not in a specific sense. Now, when I say in a specific sense, I mean that not all of these subdomains will be routable or browsable inside the web application. So, all those having 200 response codes, so these are the routables, and you can just go it. So let's go for partners.oyoroom.com, travel agent, shares, hype dev, knowledge.oyorooms.com. So you will be able to see certain content on opening all of these subdomains, and they all belongs to Oyo. Now we are looking for certain subdomains which are like having a status code of 400, which are not routable, which means there is a client side error, that is the 400 series. And when we talk about the 500 series, it means they are having a server side error, so you won't be able to open all of these subdomains. So if you will try to open this, this, it won't be able to open. It says service unavailable, DNS failure is there, and so on. You can go for. Now if you will be trying to opening the 400 series error subdomains, let's say this one, or even 403, or even 404 subdomains, so you won't be able to open it. It will give you an error message, or certain, let's say it says token is missing. Another one says it's not an appropriate, it says access denied. Again it says access denied. For refund it says uh, there is an error in opening. Again if you will go for bff.oyorooms, it will say an error is there. Again 500 series errors are there. So that's how you can actually check out for certain web applications for all of their subdomains which are present inside the web application and so on. So these are certain online specific tools or the browser based tools which you can actually go ahead and use for performing enumeration of certain specific services, or for enumerating certain domain names or subdomains from the web application itself. So that's how you can actually go ahead and search out for different informations over for these all of these subdomains present inside the web application of yours. Now, looking forward, what we can go for is, so we have covered all of those web applications which are online, and you can go for enumerating all of those subdomains. Now, we have got certain offline tools for performing subdomain enumeration. So, all of these tools are not installed inside the Kali Linux. So, we need to install them one by one. So, our very first tool of the choice is SubLister. So let's fire up the terminal and let's fire up the browser as well for subdomain enumeration. So let's say sudo space su. So for making you the root user of the operating system, let's create a folder here. Let's create a folder here with the name of subdomain, cd space subdomain, sorry, mkdir space subdomain. Then I can navigate to this specific folder. Now let's search for a tool named as SubLister with a st3r, not er. So you will find all of these tools on your specific github repositories. You will be able to find over on the internet. From there you need to clone those repositories inside your system, and then you need to install all these repositories or the tools as per your requirements. So let's copy this whole code or this url, and let's go to our folder in the terminal, type git clone and paste the URL, hit enter. So SubLister will be downloaded inside your system. If we'll do a ls, there will be a directory of SubLister. Type cd space SubLister, do a ls. So there is a requirement.txt file. So let's go with pip install -r requirements.txt. This requirement.txt contains all of the basic requirements to run this SubLister tool. Hit enter. So it's a Python utility which you need to run along for checking out all of the requirements which are made or which are requested by the application to run for. Without these requirements, your web application is your application is not going to work at all. So it is quite important for us to install all of the requirements before running this tool. Perfect. Do a ls, and now we are good to go with sublister.py. Let's go with python 3 space sublister.py, And if you will hit enter key, it's going to show you an error because certain arguments are supposed to be passed. Let's say hyphen d. So let's provide hyphen d oyorooms.com and hit enter key. You need to provide a domain, and now it's going to search whole of the internet for certain subdomains which belongs to oyorooms.com. And here are all of these subdomains which you can actually see over here. Now again, there is not 100% guarantee that these all subdomains will be live. So what I can do is I can go for sublister -h for checking out is there any way. So what I can do is I could save this thing inside the output, that is I can generate an output file. So let's say -o oyorooms. So it will be storing whole of the information, all of the result inside a file named as oyorooms. And do an ls, you will be seeing oyo rooms file over here. And for doing so, for checking the result over here, you can go for cat oyo rooms, and these are all the subdomains which you are able to fetch out. Now for checking out whether these subdomains are working or not, we will be using another tool named as http probe. So you need to install it, or just type http probe and hit enter key. Apt install is going to install this tool for you. So it's based on Golang, and you can just check out all of the information over here. And the best way to use this tool is, let's go for cat oyo rooms pipe http probe, hit enter. So it's gonna give you only those subdomains which are alive and which are active, which means they are pingable, they are routable, and they could be browsable through the web application or from the browser itself. So that's how you can enumerate subdomains with the help of SubLister. That's first offline tool. Now the second offline tool which we can actually work for is SubFinder. SubFinder is one of the tool. It's one of another graphical or command line interface tool which can be used for enumerating all of those subdomains of a web application. So let me put a termination to the execution here. Let's go a step back, and I can just go for apt install SubFinder, and it will be installing SubFinder inside my application, or even you can download it from GitHub. So let's go for SubFinder GitHub. So it will open a repository. There are two ways: either you can download the whole repository from GitHub, you can install it, or you can just go with apt install SubFinder. For executing SubFinder, you just need to go for SubFinder space -h, and it's going to display you how you can actually use all of these tool for enumerating all of those subdomains. So with -d again, you need to go for the domain to find subdomain for. So let's go for SubFinder space -d oyorooms.com and hit enter. So it is quite fast as compared to your SubLister, and here you will be able to see further more information about all these subdomains. So you can again store the output inside a file, and you can go perform HTTP probe on all of these subdomains. So there could be pretty much more information about this thing. Now apart from this thing, we have got two more tools which are completely command line interface tool First, the next tool is Pseudomy. So I can go for Pseudomy, hit enter. Okay, so I need to use GitHub for downloading it. Pseudomy, and I need to place it with the GitHub search. That is subdomain enumeration and analysis tool, and here it is, Pseudomy. And it has given you how you can actually install the whole Sudomi inside the Kali Linux. And let's go for a direct installation of the Sudomi. So what we can actually go for, let's download the repository from GitHub and we'll perform the whole installation of Sudomi. Git clone, paste the repository, and it's gonna take couple of a few more seconds for downloading. Perfect. Do ls, you will be seeing sudomy over here. Let's go for cd space sudomy do ls. There is this again requirement.txt file. So let's go for pip install -r requirements.txt. So it will be installing all of those dependencies. Okay, so certain files like sensors have not been able to install. So what we can go for is we can try to run for sudomi here, and let's see. Perfect. So we are able to run this whole thing. So what we can go for, let's try to run sudomi with -d, and let's see what information we can go for. So sudomi space -d oyorooms.com and hit enter. It says requires jq, but it's not installed, so aborting. So there are further more dependencies which we need to go for. So let's go for app install jq, that is java query is required for it to install. Press capital y, so it will get installed over inside the system. Next thing is we need to install phantom.js. So after installing this thing, phantom.js will be installed. Let's go for phantom js is required for installing. Okay, phantom has no installation candidate. Okay, perfect. Then next is we need to install npm. Yes, it says 74.1 MB of data will be downloaded. Then we need to go for Chromium. So these all dependencies are listed here when you will be opening the download or installation section of your sudomi. So it says there are certain dependencies which are required for us to download. JKey, that is Java query is there, and map, which we already have pre-installed in Kali Linux. Phantom.js doesn't have an installation candidate. We are installing npm. Then after that we'll be installing Chromium and Parallel. Let's see, 74% has been done so far. 90% almost has been completed. Let's go for yes. So it has asked us whether we want to keep on restarting the packages while installation. So I went for yes, keep on restarting if required. So it's gonna take couple of more minutes it for to install. It says progress 99% has been done. Perfect. Now, next thing is for Chromium, I can go for Chromium, but I don't need Chromium here, so let's go for parallel, which as in Parallel. Even if we want to install Chromium, there isn't any harm in installing Chromium over here. So let's install Chromium as well. Okay. It says 229 MB. Okay, let's check it. So again, it's gonna take couple of more minutes for it to install, or it could be more or less than a couple of minutes. So progress is 8% so far. Okay, so the installation of Chromium has also been done. Now let's proceed towards a certain npm package, npm space hyphen I vaporizer, sorry, hyphen G vaporizer WS cat, WAPPALYZER, sorry, NPM I space hyphen G vaporizer. So it means so we are installing these two things, vaporizer as well as WSCat for further usage. So it's gonna take a couple of minutes, I guess so, give or take. Hmm. So apart from this thing, when we talk about the pseudomy, certain API keys are also required for while using this pseudomy application inside your Kali Linux. So if you will scroll up where we have listed the files of Pseudomy, so there are certain API keys quite present here. It says pseudomy.api. So in that you will find you need to enter all of those API keys inside this file so that you can perform whole of the information, whereas it is using all these search engines or all these bots for performing or for grabbing all sort of information from the internet. Perfect. Now what we can do is list it and we can just go for pseudomy.api. Let's go for nano pseudomy.api and here you can enter all of the API keys. So I have got couple of API keys with me. Let's go with the showdown. I can just go ahead with the showdown and log in over there and I can grab all of my API keys of Shodan. Apart from it, I can go for Senses. I can load the Senses API keys. Then apart from Senses, I can load to Binary Edge. and take out my API key. So likewise, I can just go ahead and insert my API keys inside certain inside this file. So let's go with the Shodan API. I just need to hit the paste over here. I need to go for take my census API key. So there are both of them, API as well as the secret. Same way I need to go for binary portal. Let's first go with the census. Let's go to my account, go to API, and I can go for API ID and census secret. Then I can go for binary h2. Let's delete both of them and I can create a new one. Let's copy it and I can just paste it. Same way I can go for all of these search engine and paste all of the APIs information. Let's save it. Now I can use Pseudomy for performing the search of the information. So let's go for /Pseudomy -d and again we'll be able to grab certain information from Pseudomy itself. Okay, so it means like you need to enter all of the API keys for certain information. So I can even select certain bot or certain search engine from where I can just grab further more information. So let's say -h, I can just use or I can just find out, let's say brute force domain source database port resolver and map top and so on. I can just go for certain for different sources, just like I can go with Shodan, I can go with VirusTotal. It's gonna give me the same sort of information as others will be giving. Now the next tool is Subscraper. Subscraper is again a tool which can be used for performing subdomain enumeration, and we can just download it from GitHub. Let's go for cd space double dot and let's go for Subscraper and place GitHub. Here it is, perform subdomain enumeration. We need to grab the information again. Here certain keys are also required to install, but let's see whether we'll be having information of it or not. Let's copy it, git clone, paste the GitHub repository of it, cd space Subscraper, do a ls. Now again we have got a requirement file, so I can go for installation or via pip requirements.txt. Then I can go with the setup file and can install my Subscraper. Python 3 space setup.py install. So it will be installing my Subscraper inside the system, and it says it has been finished. Now if you will just load the file for the Subscraper, that is python 3 subscraper.py, hit enter. So it can show you a help option, that is if we are going to go for -h, so it can go for and tell you what information can it be give. But the only thing is, for advanced enumeration I need to go for census. It also performs takeover check on list of subdomains. So what we need to give it, we need to provide it with certain information about different domains, and where we can go for certain information. Let's go for Subscraper with -enum, and let's give it a level 2. Level 2 is that used as an used to use GNS to determine if subdomain is active and only display live host. Then apart from it I can give it, let's say, oyorooms.com, hit enter. So it's going to find out all the subdomains and their IP address from different sources. I can also try to perform subdomain takeover with the help of this tool. But before going towards subdomain takeover, what we can do is, let me tell you how subdomain takeover works. Let's go to github.com. There I could host my own repository over GitHub, and let's click on new, that is repository. I can give my repository any name. Let's say subdomain take. I am making it public and I am adding a readme file. Click on create repository. Now again, well, let's come back to what subdomain takeover is. So when we talk about subdomain takeover, is an attack when an attacker gains control over a subdomain of a target domain. Typically, this happens when a subdomain has a canonical name, that is CNAME, in the domain name system, but no host is providing content for it. So we can do this subdomain takeover with the help of GitHub only for those websites which are hosted on GitHub. So let's go to the setting on the left section. Let's go to the page. Let's first set up a page with a theme. So here it will be, I'm going to select this theme, or I can go for this specific theme. That looks good. Click on select theme. Here that's my index page, or I can name it as whatever I want to go for. Scroll down, click on commit changes. Now, once changes have been done, go back to the setting of index.md, go back to the page itself. Now here you can give any subdomain for which you want to check for. For example, if my Oyo room might have been hosted on GitHub, so I could just try this application or this, if it might have given me a response code of 404. So for example, here I am having this open for a specific reason. Let's say I am trying to go for bffoyorooms.com, and let's try to host this page over here and click on save. It says it's already taken. Same way I can just go ahead and try for other web applications which are giving me 404, or any subdomains which are giving me 404 access. The only thing is, it should give you a successful message over here apart from giving you this error message, but only on one condition. First condition is site web or subdomain should be having a 404 error second. If I'm using GitHub, it should be hosted on GitHub itself. Same way, I could use this whole uh, tool, that is Subscraper, just to find whether it can enumerate or it can go for subdomain takeover. So let's take a very small example of it. Instead of oyorooms.com, I am going to go for megacorp1.com, and let's see what information I am going to grab. So these are all the subdomains which I am able to find out. Next thing is I can actually go for finding an enumeration, because Subscraper provides an inbuilt function for performing subdomain takeover. Hyphen hyphen, you can go for takeover command and you can just wait for it to perform. So I guess there isn't any takeover over here. So you can just store this whole result and you can just grab all of this information out here and check out for subdomain takeover. If you will do a small ls, you will be seeing subscraper reporter.txt. Let's go for cat subscraper underscore report.txt. So it has got this thing. So what I can do is I could just go for python subscraper.py hyphen hyphen take over subscraper underscore report dot txt. So it's going to take out the result from these files, this file where the last information was stored. So that's how you can go and check out for subdomain takeover. I hope you got my things crystal clear. Thank you for being a good audience for me. Wish you a very happy day. See you in the next session. Bye bye.